Hello, welcome to another set-ons. What am I talking about set-ons? I'm talking Forged Alliance here on Fin's Revenge. We've got, in red, we've got Tex as UEF, and in blue, down here, we've got Raider, also UEF. Raider announcing his displeasure at the game, probably being about 120 points below Tex, but that is by no means a done deal. Does of course favor Tex. The balance rating of where are we what's it giving it? Actually doesn't end up giving a number there, but either way, let's have a look at Raider. He is going land factory, 2p gen, 2 mechs, 2 p gen, and another land factory. Meanwhile, over in red corner with Tex, we've got 2 land factory, 2p gen, and looks like 3 mechs, actually 4 mechs, 2 p gen, and then 2 further land factory. It's a bit of a difference in the start up there. Tex definitely going less on the power. I suspect he's going to try and make do with the engineers sucking the trees there. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Looks like we've got some... whoa, what just happened there? So it looks like we've got some engineers coming down, as well as a scout for Tex there, just to give you an idea of what he can see in the first couple of minutes opening. He's got his engineers just checking all flanks that nothing's creeping around. Nice move. Actually enables him to focus on engineers, and if he does pick something up, he can then switch over from engineer to lab production, so I do like that. Meanwhile, for Raider, he's actually built an offensive unit with a scout clearing up that way. Has elected not to send a scout to cover this flank. Has, however, got an offensive unit out. Wasn't surprised to see a scout chasing that up momentarily. Is, however, on a little bit of a stall on the mass front, trying to make up for that by reclaiming until he gets that stabilized. Looks like it's there now. Meanwhile, Tex, who, if you remember, went less heavy on the power and more on the mass, and you can see that has paid off for him. Still with 300 or so mass in the bank at this stage, and the first unit sneaking by. Does Tex see that? He does. I suspect he's hoping to bypass it and pick something up here. Raider actually moving up with a pretty sizable force together with his ACU, all going down one side. Typically you see ACU go one side and units that shoot the other, but in this one they're all going together. Look at this, he's actually manually firing the reclaim. It's 150 mass there. I wonder if he was trying to destroy it so that there would be none left. And looks like easy pickup here for Raider. 4v1. If you ignore the scouts, that was only ever going to go one way. Nobody yet making a play for the side island. No one yet looking interested. Surprises me the it must be something to do with the distance, because usually people rush for the hydro. Looks like Tex sent a solitary engineer, but he's going to pick that up real soon. He of course did go less heavy on the power, and that's now beginning to bite him as he is in a stall situation. It's going to resolve momentarily, and let's have a look here. We've got attacks on both sides with the ACU. In the end, Raider electing to split to a more standard ACU one-way units. The other Tex, however, focusing all down one side. This could prove dangerous if Raider doesn't come up with a solution to this. It was always a danger on maps that are this small that you get base trade and ACU wandering in. But if it's an ACU backed up by units, yes, that leaves the door wide open on the other side. And it looks indeed that Raider's going to move across, try and plug the gap potentially cutting off any reinforcements. And the jostling begins between trying to put off the commander attacking and, you know, you want to not let him roam in for free, but at the same time you don't want to give him veterancy for free. So it's a very to and fro, and you can see Raider is trying to position his forces, trying to set up some sort of pincer. Nice little move here by Raider while all this is going on, living up to his name once again. He of course featured in the replay that I cast yesterday, very much living up to his name. And I would go so far to say that raiding was Raider's best play. And here we have a move, ACU dangerously close to Raider's base there, and Raider basically trying to get as many shots off onto the ACU as possible without losing units. The factories, of course, providing good shield absorption coverage. And here we have Raider brilliantly cutting off reinforcements there for Tex. That's going to make Tex think twice about going in, because he's now aware that these units are all he's got, and that is it. I'd say Raider's got enough units here to keep that commander from just rolling over. Not quite sure how these units managed to get away. Wasn't fully paying attention, but we certainly got the units here from Raider to prevent easy reinforcement. Meanwhile, he's left the other door wide open. He's literally got a couple of units there, but he has now resolved this situation nicely. I would say this has gone much better for Raider because Tex didn't manage to pull off what he did. Okay, he gets the hydro there, but how's Raider actually doing for power? Oh, he's got plenty. If anything, it's mass, and he's got a whole load of reclaim now to pick from. Looks like, though, Tex has got the same idea, moving in with his ACU to try and grab what he can. This engineer needs to be on some sort of attack moves, and there it is. But looks like Tex is gonna, yeah, indeed he does. Nice little attack move there. I'd like to see it a little closer to the base so it don't get picked off. Nice. Meanwhile, Raider doing a massive counter-attack up the right flank, easily able to outnumber these units here, and he's moving up with his other side, on the other side, sorry, with the ACU. So just the way things are going, nobody yet made a move for the side island, nobody doing anything with the water yet. Actually, first air factory online for Tex, and it's a scout. None as of yet for Raider. Scout sent to do a once around just to check the coast is clear, quite literally, and making a big move here. Tex looking to withdraw and get that concertina effect going his way, and of course the further this way this engagement takes place, the more and more it's going to go into Tex's favor, and we see the tipping point is probably around now. And here we get a bomber rolling in, getting some free shots off, gets 2 kills on the first pass, and yeah, very nice. Meanwhile, Tex still lurking around with his ACU. This has got to be of some concern to Raider now. I mean, it's actually not doing too bad with the ACU. He's got 17 kills, about to go 18, but Tex, meanwhile, lurking in danger. Raider pauses all his factories. Not quite sure what that's about. Is that to get the PD? It is. Unbelievable the few amount of P-gen that Raider's living off. Is he able? Wow. And it's still mass that's the problem. Well, how are we doing down here? All on T1s. Tex looking to build some more P-gens now. It's amazing how few PGens you can run a whole bunch of factories off. These bombers still passing. Oh, there we go. That one finally bites the dust. This one here, I imagine with all those AAA dies as well. Fails to kill these PGen engineers, opting instead for the 2 PGen here. I'm surprised. Oh, there we go. We do have some on reclaim now. Tex, successfully being the more aggressive, manages to pick off 2 PGens and a mass extractor there. And picking off the occasional engineer that's coming out looking for reclaim. Meanwhile, a whole bunch more units just moved into position there from Tex, having outflanked Raiders units who is trying to come across, and Tex realizing this is make or break, and rather than going all in, elects to split his forces to prevent this failing if it doesn't work. I think he probably had enough to swarm the base at the time, but again, he doesn't necessarily know that. He's electing to play it safe. Meanwhile, Raiders ACU finally going to work, managing to catch a whole bunch of Texas units out of position, getting a whole bunch of kills there, and vet for free, up to 27 kills. Meanwhile, Tex is up to the low 40s now. So far, still anyone's game, but all the action so far taking place on Raiders' half of the island, which of course might seem like a disadvantage, but when he's able to get a good portion of the reclaim, it's not necessarily a disadvantage. However, Texas ACU lurking around there, able to grab a whole bunch of reclaim too. Raider finally grabbing one of the mexes outside of his starting 4. He does have one here. Looking at the overall mass totals, you can see it's neck and neck, 15k apiece. Although, if we look at reclaim here, we actually see that action happening on Raider's side has paid off. You see he's got about 2,000 reclaim more than Tex, 5.6 versus 3.8 there. That is what's keeping it in the game, because Tex has managed to hold on to more mass extractors virtually unopposed. Tex now deciding to go for the southern side island, using 3 bombers to pick off the island, and got the engineer coming in tail end. So not only is he going to get the 2 mass points, but there's also a good bunch of reclaim there from the point defense. And once again, Tex moving in on main base. Why is this not shooting? Does he even know it's there? Oh, he's standing just outside of the range ring. That's nasty. What's the situation with Raiders Eco? Somehow holding it together. He's got like 1, 2, 2.5 PGen. Incredible. It's all coming off reclaim and the fact that he's not doing anything. He's got no radar, he's got no air, he's got no nothing. And somehow off 3 PGen is managing to push deep inside Texas territory for the first time. Probing the attack down the right hand side. He's got his ACU there. I'd probably think of redirecting just 1 unit here just to tie that off. This battle here, if it doesn't go Raiders' way, is going to leave a huge amount of reclaim on the doorstep of Tex, who is arguably ahead at this point now. The PGen opening up on Texas ACU, who is in full health. Raiders going to have to think of some sort of solution here. He's working on additional PGens at this point. Oh, he's stalling big time. The only way that he can make do for that is pause these factories, get these PGen on, and start reclaiming trees. In fact, he's building PGen wherever his engineers happen to be. This is looking like desperate measures at this point. However, once again, Raider moving his ACU in the nick of time with just enough units to prevent a complete collapse here. He does have a bunch of AAA here that prevents these bombers getting free reign, and he shoots 1 down, takes the 2nd, and if he's lucky, he's going to get the 3rd as well, and he does. So he'll be happy with that, considering he's unable to afford any air. This ACU's got to be a huge problem for Raider. Granted, he's not getting that much damage done, but it's slowly ticking up. Yes, you could argue it ties up the ACU entirely, but I would still say it's having this ACU there prevents Raider from being able to completely forget about this base. He's having to continuously think about it. Let's have another look at energy. Just about balancing the books now that these 2 or 3 PGens he was working on have come on online, and somehow Raider pushing in to Tex's base despite what's been going on down here. I mean, honestly, if this was my base, I'd have thrown in the towel 10 minutes ago. I don't know how these players are able to do it. Tex having the completely unmolested base, surprisingly not so far ahead. I'm not quite sure how that energy storage died. Did he kill it, or was it as a result of some units that got through? It certainly wasn't a result of air. And here we've got some bombers once again picking off undefended. He's aware that Raider is short on PGens, and so he is focusing those down. But with some sporadically dotted around PGens now, this makes it much harder for bombers to just kill them. It's you know, with them not connected, there's no easy way to get a lot of kills. Raider's setting up shop up here. There's a bunch of reclaim as well as a couple of mechs in the area, and he is now knocking on the door of Tex. So the player who is about 120 rating down is now the one who's looking the most threatening. Looks like Tex is deciding to pick up this mechs here and then return back. Would like to see Raider, does it? No. I'd like to see Raider. He's got plenty of power now to put a radar up just so he's got an idea of what's going on back here. It's a little surprising that he hasn't, but then again, I'm nowhere near these players, and I never was. I was very good at the front of settings back in the day, and that was it, literally talking about 10 years ago. I was back in the old school, back in GPG days, and I was there when FAF began. It was some very good times. I just find I'm no longer as quick with my hands and the clicking and the decision making, and game's certainly got a lot faster, or I've got a lot slower. Raider doing a little raid here, manages to prevent the PGen, the Hydro going online. Does he pick off that engineer? He does. Tex, however, getting into the T2 game. He's got a couple of mongoose coming down, or mongooses, and yeah, the mongoose really good versus T1, able to pick them off at range for free like this, as long as you micro them, which is going to be no problem for a player of this ranking. So at this point, Raider's aware that he needs to make a move. Raider going for gun and range. Has he really got the power to do that? It appears he might have. Got a little of a delaying tactic here. I wouldn't throw too many units away. Again, all this reclaim is going to the other side. You've got to have engineer, and he does indeed have a couple of engineers moving up. Rather than sending 2 like that, I'd like to have seen 1 split over here and going across there. But in any case, he's managing to prevent Tex from escaping out of his little zone with anything other than his ACU. Raider's APM seemingly tied up with what's going on over here. And yeah, now these engineers die for nothing. He realizes, and he gets half of a tank for his trouble. He's got 3 engineers assisting his ACU. Let's have another look how his eco. Yeah, it's really bad. He's elected to pause all his factories in order to ensure that this gets done. And it's now or never. This could be a huge turning point. And the ACU, it's almost there. There, he gets it. Okay, he's got it. And that gun is going to change everything. Tex now on the run big time. I don't know whether that was the right move. Perhaps Tex was fearing that something was in the works brewing, but he's got air. He can take a look and see that that's not the case. Him doing these probing attacks here was hugely problematic, but in the end it was only ever going to be so good. These factories able to absorb huge amounts of damage, and here we have Raider pushing in on the south side. We've got Tex with the T2 point defense in main base. And when you've got pro players doing that kind of thing, you know that they are starting to panic. And Tex now with gun on the UEF with a whole bunch of engineers following to make up for that lack of reclaim. Incredible how he's managed to do so long with so little eco. That's just a lesson to us all, certainly me. I just hundreds of units from literally 5 P-gens for half the time. Everything else coming from trees. I mean, trees were always very good in the early stages, but these players able to make the trees pay for much longer. And here we have Raider with gun, able now to pick off these units with impunity. Tex once again trying to get this hydro plant done. I don't think Raider's going to allow it. He's aware that if that does happen, it could be the over. Tex now looking to at least plug one of the gaps, trying to pick off a T2. I'm not even sure he's got the ability to overcharge it, but he does manage to get it killed. Raider now able to go into Tex's base. The only concern he has is this T2 point defense, which actually working very well to prevent an overrun from the south. His units, meanwhile, able to plug the gap from the north. And surprisingly, Tex does manage to finish the hydro. He's got that engineer on reclaim duty now. And I actually thought the game was over at this point. Turns out not. As long as Tex is careful with his ACU here, he could find himself surrounded. He's got a bunch of T2 units around him. Is this a case of he didn't look? Or is this a case of throwing in the towel without making it obvious? And he now realizing the danger starts backing off. He's got 67 kills. Raider sensing blood moves into swarm. This could be it. Can he get a rank of rare? 71 kills. 72. And it's game over. Good game. Incredibly well played, Raider. You were the underdog in this one, and let's be honest, 99% of the, well, 90% of the action was all your side. You held it together while Tex's ACU was all around your base, and somehow managed to keep the pressure on with next to no eco. Somehow, just enough to keep Tex locked down, and then in the end, you just used your ACU better, and you gambled big time when you went for that gun. Looks like Tex had a few seconds opportunity while he realized what was going on. He went for it, but by the time he got to your ACU, it was already too late. You had the gun, and after that, it was just a matter of time. I did think with that T2 PD, if he could get another one and keep your ACU out, it might go for a bit longer, but then it seemed that he took his eye off the ball down here. Either way, great game. Well played. Take care. See you again. Bye-bye.